Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, everybody. Today we are doing a wonderful deep dive with Griggs. He's going to be joining me on voice chat and taking a look at the Goodnice Gift Showcase build that I did for him that I called Magic and Metal. It's a little Magic the Gathering and metal music shop built around some of Grig's favorite things, as expressed by him in the little bio that he gave me. So I have Grig on voice. You won't be able to hear him until I pop into Planco. So if you're here and you have not hit exclamation point milk in the chat, you should do that so we can know what kind of milk you are today. Unfortunately, I am curdled milk today, so let's hope that doesn't interfere with the stream. Hopefully I don't vomit. And Tinky is making titties again. Always making titties. Minge and titties. I don't understand. It doesn't sound... I mean, actually, that does sound like a decent meal to me. But, I don't know why Tinky's making it. It doesn't seem like something she would be into. All right, so hey Holly, thanks for joining us. Wonderful Waddle Jester. Hopefully Grig is ready for this deep dive because we're going to get deep. I'm going to ask him some very probing questions about why he likes the things he likes and who he is as a person as we explore this very beautiful build that I made. I mean, it's just an exquisite, excellent build. I don't think anyone's built anything nicer ever. And the detail is just incredible. So, oh yeah, Riven. Yep, I have not put any sort of exercises on my stream yet. Though, to be honest, you have inspired me, and I think I might add some redeems for that because I have put on a lot of weight in the past year, and I need to start motivating myself to lose some of it, so that way it stops getting in my way. Honestly, it's just so fucking annoying. Like, you don't really think much about how much your body can interfere when it's just got, like, essentially an extra appendage just hanging off of your torso. Oh my gosh, Tinky! Tinky! Alright, well, sorry about this, Greg. I know chat can't hear you right now, Greg, but I can hear you and you can hear me. So I have to do a peach stand, which is a redeem on my channel. Oh, thank you for the resub, Scarlet. Alright, so we're going to start with some nice stretching. You guys can see my belly there. Okay, I get a little bit of... some stretches down here. Gotta warm up for a peach stand, you know? Okay. Oh, yeah. Stretching it out. Get this way. Okay, yeah, that feels good. How about some quads? Yeah, get a little quad stretch there. Oof. Nice and easy, getting loose, getting limber. Okay, alright. Oh, here, let me try and make sure that my... which way am I gonna go? Okay. Alright, is this good? Can you guys see the peach? Okay. Let me just stretch down here. Just get a real good forward bend stretch.
You're doing this live, and because I can, you can hear me, it feels like you're doing this for me. It's so much weirder.
Yeah, this one's for you, Tinky, and for you, Grig. Oh, yeah. Just get a little bit of rocking back and forth. Real easy, you know? You don't want to rock a stretch really hard. Strain something, but nice, easy lean. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a good
really
stretch.
Does just keep going, though.
That's a good stretch there. Okay. Let's stretch back up. And then back down. Okay. Yeah, I feel the stretch right in there. Right down the legs. And up into the glutes right there. Okay. You guys want to see it from the side? There you go. There it is. See, nice and round shape when you're getting that good forward bend stretch. Okay. Hopefully that sufficed. is that enough? Was that enough peach for you, Tinky? I mean, I know it's never really enough, but hopefully you feel like you got your money's worth. Not quite, Riven. I've got all my clothes on. Oh, thanks for the cheer and the bits, Riven. Appreciate that. Aw, so nice of you. Okay. Well, yeah. Foxy, yes. All warmed up to probe Grig real good. We're going to get real deep inside Grig to understand who he really is and what he's all about. Okay, back to the lurk. Thanks, Riven. All right. Okay, let us hop into... Aw! Scarlet! Thank you! Look at that, a hype train! Oh my gosh, is that the first time I've had a hype train? Holly, thanks for the biddies! Aw, you guys are so nice. I guess I should have Grig on more often. Oh, and the primes. Grig, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, more biddies. Oh my gosh. The biddy train. Thanks, Foxy. The beautiful little fox. 100 little foxes. Or those corgis. That looks like a corgi to me. Is that 100 little corgis? Aw, that's sweet. Oh. 69 Lamau bits of a unicorn popping out of a rainbow heart. That's got to be sexual, right? I'm not exactly sure how, but that's definitely sexual. The corgi is very cute, Foxy. I think it's very on brand for you still. Aww, thank you guys so much for that beautiful hype chain. Oh, ah! That's a huge fox. Oh my gosh, 90.25% towards level 2. That's incredible. Thank you all so much. That is very, very kind. Now that's a fox. That is a fox. That is a beautiful, beautiful fox. Oh my gosh. Thank you all so much. That was so nice of you. Why is it telling me I can gift stuff to get the things? I shouldn't have to gift into my own hype train. What? What just happened? Oh, Holly! Oh, thank you for the sub! That is so nice. Oh, I can hear Grig in the background sweating from all the money that you're spending here. Like, it's just insane. That $6, I can't believe that you're flush with cash like that. Yeah, Grig is yelling in my ear right now. He's like, son of a bitch. He's really going to have to work those streets hard later. Thank you all so much for all of the donations and the subs. I really appreciate it. Obviously, like, this is not my main job or anything, so this is not my main job or anything, so you're never required to donate things that cost you money, but it is always appreciated, especially the subs, just because it's nice that people want to hang out here and be a part of the community. So with that in mind, if anyone has not yet, I think everyone I've seen in chat so far has, but anyone that's in there lurking, we do have a Discord, myself and Scarlet, called Moons and Milks. And so, hey, you have a first badge. Yeah, because I do not have very many subs since I hit affiliate. So, yeah, there's probably a couple of those first badges still out there. So there's the Discord in case anybody wants to hang out with our community. That's interesting. If you hover over the link for Discord, it says an error occurred. No information available. And it shows a person with their head in their hands. But anyway, you could join the Discord and hang out there where we talk off stream about a bunch of different things. And it's also where you can find announcements and schedules about upcoming events and streams and other people part of the community. There's a community thread where you can have alerts for your stream go up, so that way people can see all of their friends that are going live in one place. All right, well, I think that was an absolutely fantastic and wonderful start to the stream. Thank you all so much. Now I'm sweating, and so I'm gonna turn on my overhead fan and get a little airflow going. Thank you so much, everybody, for getting this level 2 hype train. That was very, very kind of you all, and I really appreciate it. So let us hop into. Let me know if you can hear that fan, because I can hear it, but I don't think it's coming through the mic.
I can't hear it in Discord.
Okay, good. All right. So let me hop over to our. Okay, so now, Grig, everyone should be able to hear you. If you want to say something. Oh god, you are loud. Okay, let me pull you down. All right, try again.
Oh, I need this to be a thing. Hello again, but
okay.
quieter.
Yeah, that looks better. Let me know. Oh, I think we could already hear him a little. Oh, really? Was he coming through a little bit? Oh, might have some audio bleed on the channels. That's weird. Since they're all digital channels, we shouldn't be getting bleed, but... You might, Holly, you could probably just hear him in real life. No. You heard him faintly? That's so weird. Interesting. All right, well, much more bass boosted now. Okay. So, Grig, they heard everything you said, which was honestly not much, so that's okay. All right, so we can hop into the park. Boom, 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 boom. Hopefully my computer cooperates. Let me just double check my temps real quick. Yeah, everything looks reasonable. We'll do a quick reset on maximums. Okay, cool.
Oh, hello, you all heard me thank you for the Peach show. Which went on like 10 times longer than I thought it would.
Well, that's a pretty expensive redeem, so I like to give people their money's worth, you know?
Yeah?
You know, when you come to my stream, you're really gonna get the value that you would expect from your hard-earned biddies and redeems. Your milks, if you will, because that's what my channel points are. Oh, the hype train has ended! Alright. Oh, a hype chest. Open it. Button mash emote. Hooray! Thank you for that, Twitch, for telling me things. Thank you all so much again. That was so awesome and kind of you all. But, okay. Let's focus in on Grig. So, Grig gave me a short bio. Well, he didn't give it to me, he gave it to Waddle, and Waddle gave it to me. But it was not super detailed, but did give enough detail for me to kind of come up with some ideas. And I'm going to grab that real quick because it should be easy to find because I don't... no, maybe not. Maybe not because I'd have to find Waddle's DM with me. And there's like a lot of smut and like flirting in that, so I probably can't even find it. Yeah, okay. Well, whatever. Grig's description was basically that he likes metal music. He gave a few bands. He is a programmer. And he likes Magic the Gathering. And then he also mentioned that he's married to Holly, which did actually... At first, I didn't think it was going to play into my build. Sorry, I just got a text from a friend who said, wrong day to tune into Brandon's stream, got full ass immediately.
I mean, that was a good, like, 3 minutes either side of that. They could have tuned in as well, to be fair.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. There was a pretty big window where, when you pulled up the stream, that's all you were going to see. Hey, what's up, Waddle? We were just talking about you. Thanks for popping in. You missed the peach stand, but you can always watch the VOD. Yeah, Foxy, you would think they would be used to seeing my ass. This friend lives out of state now, so they don't get to see it that often. So they may have, it's hard to imagine that my ass could leave your memory bank and not be imprinted so firmly, but I bet people that move out of state do sometimes forget. Hello, Waddle. Yeah, exactly. That's a very healthy personality trait, is to assume everyone's always talking about you. That says good things about your mental state, Waddle. I appreciate that. Good insight. Those in another country, I do have a few friends that have seen my ass in person that live in another country, but not a ton these days. Most of my friends that moved overseas are back now because it was like Peace Corps stuff and things like that. Temporary gigs. All right, so into this beautiful build. So I had a little bit of information about Grig when I went into the build, and I knew that I wanted to. At first, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. So my initial idea that never came to fruition was I was going to build some animatronics of Grig and Holly playing Magic together, and I was going to make the cards like about them. So that was my first idea, and I workshopped that idea a little bit with Benny off stream. But then when I went in to start building, I was like feeling a little uncertain about the animatronic idea. Like it was going to be a lot of work that I wasn't really familiar with in game.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
so
animatronics are hard.
animatronics are difficult, and I don't have a lot of experience with them. So I was like, okay, maybe I should focus somewhere that's a little bit more in my wheelhouse, because I started a bit late. I'll be honest. I didn't give myself a ton of time to do the build. I need to start practicing with the animatronic stuff, because I do have a lot of ideas with that. But so yeah, the first thing that came to my mind when I started to I was just in the park thinking about ideas, checking out pieces. Most of the time when I start a build, the first thing I do is I just scroll through the full catalog and just look for pieces that catch my eye. And nothing was really jumping out to me when I was doing that. But I did have an image in my head. And if I go to my blueprints real quick. So initially, and that's not seated properly, I don't think. But initially, this was essentially what I built. So it started with this curved glass window. I knew I wanted a curved corner of glass. I was like, okay, I'm gonna build a building, and maybe I'll build Dusky started late. Yes, I procrastinate on things. If it's urgency and passion are my two biggest motivators, and passion doesn't come until I get into a project usually. So it's urgency that usually starts the project, and then passion takes over. So yeah, I had to hit the level of urgency before I started. But yeah, so I wanted to do like a curved glass window. That's what I was picturing in my head. So that's where I started. Oh, sorry, I got like hiccups, burps coming in. So I started with this glass window that ended up. So there's like curved wood pieces here, and I was like, oh, that actually, like the wood and the glass, I think would look really like clean and modern. And I just like was picturing like, okay, if I was going to a game shop, what kind of environment would I want to be in? Like what would appeal to me as far as like features? And I was like, a big window to like let in light during the day, as well as just to be able to see out into the area around, I think is really fun because I feel like a lot of gamers and especially Magic players, like a lot of the play spaces in game shops are usually like back rooms or basements or like a lot of places that don't have a ton of windows.
Yeah.
And I think it can, on the one hand, it's like nice because you get to control the environment more, but on the other hand, I feel like it isolates us as players in a way. And I wanted to build a shop that was going to keep people that were engaging with the game still connected to the rest of the world. And that was kind of the thought process with this like wide open windowed building, was that even when you're here and you're connecting with these pastimes that you really enjoy, you're not separating yourself from everyone else. You still have this interaction. And I envision this being like, with a building like this, I envision it being in like a more urban area. I didn't end up having the time to build a whole city around it, but that's kind of how I pictured it. And that's the kind of shop I played in when I was playing Magic the most, was a shop that was like right downtown in the city I was living in. And so that's kind of part of my influence with what I was doing. So I will say the outside of the building had nothing to do with what Grig liked and had everything to do with what I liked. And that's how I had to start the build. So I could eventually get to a point where I could start thinking about what Grig liked, and what would make sense to him.
To be fair, I don't think I've ever had any strong opinions on architecture in any regard.
Well, I'm glad that this isn't against your tastes.
No, it looks good. I like
Okay.
it.
So yeah, so this started with like trying to figure out what kind of curved window I could do. I really didn't want to do these flat panels to make the curved window, but ultimately it was the only thing that worked. But since they do have these skinny panels, you can kind of get very small variations of angles. So this was all manually set angles that I curved around the wood here, trying to keep the panels as centered as I could. And then I added in these pieces on the side. Initially, I used these thin pieces along, or maybe slightly wider pieces. And so there were more like separations. And so I started going through and adding in these hoarding primary supports to be like window frames or braces. And I started with like a bunch of them with each window pane, and I didn't like that, so I slowly was like removing pieces, and eventually ended up here where we've got these bigger windows. So these are the square glass panes that I think this is their normal size. I don't think I scaled them at all. Oh, I did scale them. I scaled them up a lot. Okay, they're at 201%. Never mind. So I scaled those up, and then just started throwing in supports and started removing supports that I felt like I didn't need. Same thing here. Like, obviously you can see the break between these glass panes where they're like barely overlapping. But that was just the reality of the build. I couldn't get rid of that. We do have an ad break in 2 minutes, just as a heads up to everybody. So, if you don't want to get those ads, you can always just throw a sub my way. Or you can wait and I will kill some time. We'll see. So I did like a support here, and then started coming around. Initially, the doors weren't here. It was just windows across, and so there was no way into the building. But I was like, okay, I'll just I'll figure out the door later. And you get a little support here with an extra piece of glass, or the glass goes across. Aww! Thank you for the gifted sub, Scarlet. Waddle, be appreciative. Thank my lovely fiance for her generous gift to you. Because
Damn
she's
it, Waddle,
a
why haven't you
wonderful
said
person.
thank you yet?
Yeah, Waddle, jeez. Ah, there it is. That's a good Waddle. Good job, buddy. Oh, Scarlet gifting us up to Tinky too. Oh, that is very nice of you. Thank you, Scarlett. Thank you. To be clear, though, Scarlett and I do share money for the most part, so she's really just spending my money to gift you guys subs, you know. So, well, our money. I shouldn't say my money. Our money. She makes more money than I do, so more of it's hers than mine. Um, but so we're really just recycling it through the community. Exactly. Excuse me is right. Yes, Scarlett is the primary breadwinner in our relationship. She makes like, I don't know, 25 grand more than me or something. Um, any case, thank you, Scarlett, for those wonderful gifted subs. I really appreciate it. She does win bread, and she's going to continue to win bread as her career continues to grow, because she works in a field that makes a lot more money than mine.
I know it's not the point, but I would absolutely demolish some bread right now. We're talking about bread so much. I'm so hungry.
Hey, Holly, if you've got some bread in the house, if you could please supply some to Grig, that would be much appreciated. Thank you. I need him, on point and not famished during this. Yeah, I do not. Okay. He can have crunchy crisps. I don't know what that is, but it sounds like a cereal. Oh, crunchy crisp. Do you mean like crunchy potato chips?
Like chips, yeah.
Ah, okay. I got there.
She wants me to just eat crisps really loudly into the microphone, I guess. Which I'd do.
Which I would do, totally. No, thank you. Much appreciated for the offer, but no. So I'm spending a lot of time talking about this, but this is exactly what I was talking about. It's like these deep dives, I think it's fun to go into the detail of how the build came together. I'll try and move quickly through the rest of the exterior so we can get to the interior and get more of Grig's opinions, and see how he felt about some of the things I made specifically for him instead of just for me. But this roof was a huge pain in my ass. I could not figure out for a long time how I wanted to do the roof, because I was like trying to do like a lot of buildings, like they have like the ledge that sticks up around and then like the roof is slightly lower. But every time I tried to do that, as I was like trying, it all looked wrong. Because like ostensibly in real life, this wood would all be a facade. It would be a brick building with like the wood facade over top of it. And so, like, I was doing, like, brick at the top, but it just looked weird, and I didn't like it, and so eventually I did just go with these wood roof pieces, and I just kind of accepted the fact that it looked a little odd with just, like, the flat roof with no border. But I just decided that there just wouldn't be anything on the roof. It wouldn't be, like, a classic kind of city building where everything's up on the roof. I decided to make it more of like this building was built specifically for being a shop like this, and so it was designed to be better looking. And then these little angle pieces, the eaves, actually did a great job of covering up. If I delete this piece, this is how the roof looked initially with like the brick wall out on its own. And so I found these little eave pieces that covered the transition really nicely. Gave a little bit of an overhang here for the brick wall in the back. I thought, like, really brought it together. And then back here, this is the bathroom section. I ended up going with a tile roof. If you see, this is like all brick. This all looks homogeneous here, but in the front, you've got the facade of the wood and glass, but then this back section with the bathrooms, which, oh yeah, those emotes. The back section here, I built on after I built the initial wood and glass structure. So I like built this brick wall here, across here, but then I decided to add on bathrooms, and I felt like the the change to like this tiled roof fit better with like the bathroom section, and there's eaves for this too, which also I think helped hide this transition where the brick wall juts out from the wood. And I initially was trying to figure out how I could transition this, but I was like, you know what? If this was a real building and they did build on this more utilitarian section in the back, I wouldn't there would be this kind of awkward transition. It wouldn't be perfect. So
Yeah, for sure.
I left it as such, and I think it works totally fine. I think it looks natural, and I felt like all of the design choices I made here were really to help make the building look sleek and modern, and create the right distinctions and transitions from the beautiful shop front that's like all wood and glass to this more utilitarian back section. Big natural. Thank you, Martin. I appreciate that. Martin, I keep forgetting. I keep meaning to send you a Discord invite, and I keep forgetting because we invited a bunch of people that we wanted to be in there. So there's the Discord invite link that should still work. It's telling me there's an error, but if you want to hang out in the Discord, there it is, because I keep forgetting to DM you. So while I'm thinking about it and you're here, there you go. Okay.
Martin is all about the big natties.
Yeah, big natties for sure. Martin loves those big natties. He talks about it all the time on his stream.
I've talked about it with him multiple times over the last couple of days. It just keeps happening.
There you go. See? Yeah, confirmation. Okay. So, that's the exterior. These doors, I will admit, because why would I ever lie about anything? Yeah. These doors are actually from the workshop. At the point that, yeah, gasp. I am of the mentality that if there's a piece that already exists in the workshop that you would essentially just be recreating the wheel on, why spend the time making it? So, like, I knew I just wanted very simple glass doors, and I could have spent the time to, frame them out, add in some glass, add in some handles and stuff, but I was running low on time and had a ton of shit to do still.
It's a controversial say, but I am fully with you.
yeah, it's certainly controversial, and I wouldn't use workshop items for something more advanced or something that really needs to be custom. But and I did customize this door beyond its original form, which I will show off in a second here. But yeah, I was just I found these on the workshop. I browsed real quick. I was like, hey, yeah. And I was like, this is so simple. I could literally recreate it myself, or I could just grab this blueprint and save myself, 20 minutes of building. So I did. So I think what we can do now is we can delete out the shell. So that shell is available on the workshop and has gotten a fair number of downloads. I do think it is a beautiful building shell, so if you want to use it and adapt it to your own needs, go for it. Okay, so here is the exterior of the final build. I added a little sidewalk. I really wanted to add some streets to give the urban feel, but I just ran out of time. Okay, Grig's Magic and Metal. First thoughts when you saw this, Grig. How were you feeling?
I was pretty excited. I mean, I knew it was going to be a magic shop because, the table layout and the magic bit, obviously. And then I saw the metal, and I was just like, "Oh, what's he gonna incorporate the music stuff into it?" So, yeah, it was pretty exciting to see it as just oh, it's mine as well. That little bit of ownership.
Yes, definitely. I toyed with a few different names. I was trying to, so for chat's reference. Grig gave me a few different band names of bands that he likes, and
which bands did I give? Because I actually can't remember anymore.
You gave,
or do you know which bands even?
Yeah, you gave. Oh boy, I'm gonna forget now. My brain can see the message and it can't read the words.
Pop quiz.
One of
Uh,
them. One of them was. So I felt really dumb for this when I figured it out. So one of the bands you listed was uh, QOTSA,
ah,
and I
Queens
was
of the
like,
Stone Age.
"Oh,
Yeah.
Gojira, Mastodon, yep." Uh, and Gojira, Mastodon, and I was like Kotza. I was like, I don't know what Kotza is. Um, and so when I was doing the music stuff, I searched Kotza, and it came up, and I was like, "Oh, son of a bitch! I'm a fucking idiot." It's an abbreviation for Queens of the Stone Age, and I was like, I knew that, like I knew that, but my brain just didn't click initially. So yeah, Gojira, Mastodon, Queens of the Stone Age, I think were the three bands you listed.
Yep.
Um, so thank you for that, Waddle. I appreciate that. Yeah, Waddle has an interest in a similar music taste, so those bands would be very common to him. For me, I had never listened to Gojira or Mastodon, to my knowledge, so it was all random words and names to begin with until I started
Yeah,
looking
that's
into
fair. I mean, Gojira's name is a weird one as well, anyway, because it's literally a French death metal band where the name is the anglicized way of writing the Japanese word for Godzilla.
Yep.
So it's like there's so many different like nationality layers to that name
Yeah,
or that band even.
it's really it was really cool to go into that, and I'll talk a little bit more about my process for that when we get to the metal
Mhm.
section.
Sure,
um,
sure.
but yeah, so a couple of final touches. I was trying to figure out names, so yeah, like I was saying, I was trying to find stuff from the band's albums or hit songs.
Yep,
I did not watch the opening ceremony of the Olympics. Gojira was part of the opening ceremony.
they were.
Oh
They
wow.
played at. Oh, I think it was the place where Marie Antoinette was kept before she was executed, and they played there, like
Wow.
strapped onto the side of the building, pretty much.
That's
I
actually
believe that's
super
where it
intense.
was.
That's
So I
very
might be able to
metal.
correct you.
That sounds very metal to me. I'm
Hmm.
not 100% sure what is and isn't metal, but I'm pretty sure that's metal.
It's pretty metal. I mean, if you watch the video, it's pretty good. It literally opens with a beheaded lady singing, so
There you go. Yeah.
it's up there.
That sounds awesome. That sounds like a really good show. I feel like metal bands, as much as like metal music is not really my thing, I do feel like metal bands give a really good performance. Like just objectively, like metal bands, punk bands, hardcore bands, that really kind of like intense musical genres, they're so active on stage, it really becomes a full performance, beyond just the
Yeah,
music. You know, like you see like pop singers or other singers, like they might have like dance routines or something, but it's all kind of like simple and choreographed. I feel like one of the really awesome things about music in the spaces like we are just talking about, like metal, hardcore, punk, is that it's uh, such a raw expression. The music is like intended to be very raw and kind of like guttural to that extent, that you really feel that in the performance. Those artists embody, I think, the music that they perform, which is really awesome to see. Okay. So added some lights out here. You can kind of get a quick view. Oh, I keep starting to talk about the fact that I was workshopping names and couldn't come up with anything related to the bands. None of the song titles really made sense as like a shop name.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. That would be tricky.
yeah, it was. I had a couple that I was like I could force this, but it wouldn't really have the same effect. Um,
I'd love to know what like the worst ones you had there
well,
were.
so many of the song titles are just like normal words, and I'm like, they don't have songs titled like the Yellow Submarine for like like something like that, where I could
That's
be
true.
like Grig's
Yep.
Yellow Submarine, or like something like that to like really call it out. Um, so I had to abandon that idea. I was gonna call it something else. I can't remember. I was gonna call it like Grigler's Grigler's Magic Emporium or something. I can't remember what I was going to call it something else. But I will say the music, the metal part, didn't actually come into play until several days before the park was due. So Magic and Metallurgy was another one. Yeah, thank you, Scarlett.
Grigless House of the
Stinky
Stinky
Boys.
Boys. Hell yeah.
That would have been a great name for it, but it also would have not drawn in customers because it would have been too real, you know?
Yeah, I mean they already know it's gonna be stinky.
Yeah. So I ended up with Grig's Magic and Metal once I added the music section. Because, like I said, that didn't hit me until very late in the build. Initially, it was just going to be a magic shop. And I had this back corner that we'll see later, and I didn't know what to put there, and it finally dawned on me. I was like, wait, this is the perfect amount of space for a specifically metal music section. Like, it's not a full music shop, it's just metal music. And so that's when it came in, and then that really solidified the name of, like, okay, Grig's Magic and Metal, that's perfect. It's ambiguous enough to draw interest, but specific enough that if you know what's going on here, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, man.
So I loved it. I ended up being very happy with it, and I love the lighting on the sign, actually. It took it.
Yeah, it looks really nicely.
Yeah, it's very simple, like just a couple of. I'm not even gonna be able to click on this. A couple of these. No, don't. I don't. Okay. Anyway, a couple of these small lights here that I just made black, so they're like hard to see at night. And then one of these hangy lights, which put out a lot of light. You can kind of like see the reflection of the light, and it bleeds into the building. The lights are still buggy in the game to a certain degree. You can see all this light back here from the lights that are inside the store, which doesn't make any sense, but honestly, I don't mind because it lights up the sidewalk and it's fine. But I wanted to make sure there was a ton of light on it because I wanted it to be one of those things, once again, thinking about the real life experience of playing at this shop. I kept coming back to that as I was doing the build. I was like, okay, what would this feel like in real life? What would I want it to feel like? And having a lot of light makes this a focal piece for the environment that it's in, and I was hoping would draw people in, because a lot of times magic events take place in the evening, unless it's on the weekend and then it's all day or whatever. But weekly events for magic shops are usually evening events, so that way people can play after work. Freshly cut beef vibes, very metal.
There's nothing more metal than freshly cut beef.
That is true, folks. Yeah, really good. So I wanted to light it up a lot to make it stand out in the night scene. So, like, people will be able to see what's going on in here, and hopefully that will draw their interest and be like, what the hell is this? Like, why are there so many people in there? Like, and what are all these tables for? And what is that on the wall? I really wanted to draw people's attention to it to get the passerby interest. And, drawing metalheads into a magic shop, I think, is a really cool concept. If people know that, like, hey, Grig runs this shop and he's a metalhead and he always has like a really finely procured set of metal music, that would potentially draw in that community, even if they have no interest in magic. So my favorite thing about local shops is really the personality and connection you get with the people that run the shop. And so having these kind of like boutique and very personalized features, it's something that happens with skate shops a lot too, where you really get the personality and interest of the owner and operators with the shop. And so I really like the concept of Grig running this shop and having like this really like boutique metal section and the whole like open magic section, and mixing those two communities in a way that's very uniquely Grig. Cool. So that's kind of where we ended up with that. Let me pop us back to daytime. 11
My
o'clock is my
eyes.
standard daytime. Okay, so real quickly, these doors, like I said, they're from the workshop, but I did add a little bit of detailing. I messed with the edges a little
Ooh.
bit. Here, let me throw on my torch real quick. I messed with the edges a little bit, I think, and then I added these. I built some essentially like hinge modules, such that a door would actually have. So I built these, and then I also put down the small little nubbins down here as
Nice little locks.
exactly little foot locks for the door, which would be more realistic to what a glass door like this would have. So I did alter the workshop build. It wasn't expressly only a workshop build. I modified it. So that also made me feel like it was okay because I altered it from its original design. Just a little bit, but altered nonetheless.
Yeah.
Okay, so into the beautiful, beautiful shop. I I will say I love this shop. I did have to keep reminding myself that I was building this for Grig and not for myself, because I kept just wanting to do things that I like. And at several points in the build, Scarlett can attest to this. We oftentimes were like on a Discord call while we were working on these things. Um, she was working on her build and I was working on mine, and I kept being like, I have to remember that this is for Grig, and I need to do things that he's gonna like, not just things that I like. I had to like keep reminding myself. I was like, this is for someone else. This isn't about me, because I just wanted to like. Once I got into the build, I was like, oh, I fucking love this. I was like, I want this shop. I want this shop to exist in real life, and so I started like very focused on like making it something that I liked, and I was like, okay, I need to make sure I put in some things that are actually for Grig. So
Yeah.
to start off with my build, well, I guess okay. First off, when we entered into the shop, any first impressions, Grig?
I mean, from this angle, the little disco tables are driving me through a loop, but I can't tell if that's the LOD popping if or it's intentional or if it's like a.
It's just the game freaking out. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, these are so because I was trying to create a flat table with multiple objects. They're set like a pixel on top of each other.
Got you.
So
Got you.
as you move like further away from them, different
Yeah.
circles appear and disappear. That was one of those things that I just had to accept. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I can't take the time to fix this. I'm just gonna leave it as is, and people can deal with it.
Yeah.
The
I mean, other than
tables,
that, I really like the. Obviously, you've chosen the colors to be based on like the mana colors from Magic, which is really
yes,
fun.
yes,
Just to like really drive the Magic theming through.
exactly. So, Holly, to answer your question, they weren't meant to be records, but they honestly do kind of look like multicolored records, which
Yeah, they
works
work.
on both levels. With the different colors, it kind of creates the tracks of the album that kind of feel
Mm.
to it, as well as with the edge of it. So I guess I can go into this table first since we're here. This table is a bunch of circles um, that I see. Danger Cube, super useful, super
I
convenient.
love it.
Everyone should use
I think
it
it's
all the time.
really the colliders on it are absolutely fucking awful, but it has purpose. You see it in every fucking game engine. But in those game engines, the colliders are good. You can fucking shush me all you want, you little bastards. Uh,
Okay. Um,
I'm calm. I'm a calm person. Uh,
so I was particularly frustrated when I built this table about the fact that this piece that's in the game, this large flange, as well as just the basic circle piece, are not actually circles. And the bigger you make them, the more horrendous the polygons get. Like, you can see these freaking straight, flat edges to a degree that I was, like, very irritated by.
Yeah.
Yes, fair, Scarlet. Yeah, there should be a toggle button for the Danger Cube. I will give you that.
I don't think it should be.
I do love
I
Danger
think
Cube,
the
though.
colliders should just be where they visually are, and then it would be fine.
That's fair. It could, yeah, if they just made that better. So I once again just had to accept that, okay, no circle in this game is going to actually look like a circle at this size. So I just used the flange because I had the right texturing. The circles, like the basic art shapes, are too perfect for a lot of things.
Yeah, they're very smooth for the most part.
Yeah, they have like no texturing. I would love it if you could, if they added a feature into the basic shapes that you could select a texture, like make it metal, make it wood, make it
changing
plaster.
the material up would be good.
Yeah, that would be amazing. But right now they're just so perfectly smooth that they really stand out in a lot of builds, I think. So I try to steer clear of them if at all possible. Obviously, there are certain things where you just need the basic shapes, and I do use them all the time. But if I can, I prefer to use objects that have actual texture and material to them. So that's why I went with the flange instead of the circle. And so this is just inlaid flanges that I recolored to the colors of Magic the Gathering, which is oftentimes referred to as Wooburg. And I'll put that in the chat. Yeah. Wooburg. And the W stands for blue because the B stands for black. Or, I mean, sorry, W is for white, U is for blue. My bad. The U is for blue because the B is for black. So, white, blue, black, red, green. I hit the bullseye, yes. And so, I did Wooburg coloring. I started with the chairs with the Wooburg colors. And I'll kind of get to that in a moment. And then I extended that to these tables as well. I was like, all right, let's do Wooburg tables. And I used the glass pane with the frame in the circle shape as the top and bottom of the table to give it this edge. And these circles are actually fucking circles. They don't have that horrendous jagged edge. Like, obviously, they're not.
No secret.
Yeah, you know, they do have some.
Look close enough.
Yeah, if you look close enough, you could see it. But it's a lot. Like, this is more what I would expect a circle to be in this game, as opposed to this fucking horrendous atrocity that they're trying to pass as a circle.
Yeah. I mean, it's a circle if it's small enough, right?
Yeah. If it's small enough. But, you know, they built it to make it big enough. So like the fact that I can make it this big and then it looks like shit, I think that's fault on their part.
Yeah, that's fair.
But in any case, I capped it with the glass with the frame because I felt like it helped take a little bit away from the jagged edge. Thank you, Waddle, for repeating that I hit the bullseye with this table. I agree, except the center is not red, it's green, so it's not really a traditional bullseye.
Jesus, Waddle, didn't even get the colors right, man.
Yeah. Waddle, are you colorblind? Do you need help? I could tell you, the center is green and this outer circle is red. I'm very good with colors.
We'll just need to give Waddle a moment.
Oh, thank you, Cheeky. Thanks for the lurk. Hello. Hi, Cheeky. I see you. Wave at me. And then, so the base of this table is actually a angled bracket, or not angled bracket, a less than sign for the 3D font.
Ah, classic.
So I
Love it.
took two of these and whoa, okay, put them. Oh god, oh camera's freaking out on me now.
Ah!
Okay, and something else that I hate: you can't go through the
Yeah.
roof of a building.
You can with the fly cam mode,
Well, I don't like flycam mode, so
but then you can go through the roof of a building.
yeah.
I'm
I'll
actually
have to
surprised you don't like fly cam.
get better with that because I'm just used to the controls of this camera, and the
That's
controls
fair.
for the fly cam are slightly different. I did try it out, but
Yeah,
I
there are a
ended
lot
up
more first person controls, really.
yeah, which honestly, if I would have started on that, it would have worked well for me. But
Mm.
like Q and E on my keyboard being rotate is really intuitive to me. And so the fact that
Yeah,
it
it's a
changes
real
those to raise and lower um, was throwing me off. But
that's
yeah,
not a bullseye.
okay. Bullseye. Agreed. Yeah, I nailed that one. Hit it dead center like a bullseye. Um, so yeah, these are just two of these. I wanted like a simple angled table base. I also wanted the table base to be thick and strong enough to where you could really play on it, and because players will lean on the table and stuff, so you can't have super wobbly tables, otherwise it will go
Yeah.
poorly. But I also wanted a table that had a base that wouldn't interfere with people sitting at it. Um, I didn't want people bashing
Yeah.
their knees constantly, so I tried to make it like as small as I could, but as stable as I could. So it's like thick legs, and there's four of them to create less weak angles for leaning, and tried to keep it towards the center to keep it out of the way of the players.
Hmm.
So yeah, you'll notice as we talk through all this that I spent a lot of my thought process was around the real world implications of this build and what that would look like, um, what that would feel like if I was actually here in this shop. You'll notice the shop gets a little dark in areas. That's because the lighting in Planco is still kind of whack to a certain degree. Uh, like I had to put in a shit ton of these overhead lights to get it to light up the room at all.
Yeah.
And then like the light dies off so fast. So I did do less intense lighting over here with these lights that I scaled up. Hey, what's up, Lady Artemis? Um, yeah, I do a lot of thinking through how I build things, because
Hmm.
that's the fun of it for me. Is like okay, trying to think through the details. Um, so yeah, the lighting is like kind of dark and everything, but I was also like, well, it's a metal shop as well, so like it being dark and moody, I think is also fair. I wanted to make sure that the play area was very well lit though, because that is something that as a player, like playing in a dark space is very annoying. You want to be able to see
Yeah.
everything that's going on, read people's cards easily. So I wanted to make sure the play area was well lit. Um,
So what's going on with the square tables? Because I didn't actually notice this in the original showcase. What's going on with the what's the
these rectangle
what have we got there?
tables.
Yeah.
So this was the first thing I built for the shop. Were these rectangular tables? I
Hmm.
wanted a simple play table for the shop, so I could have a bunch of them, and it could work really well for like four people sitting to play a game of Magic. Thank you for the lyric, Lady Artemis. So I was trying to figure out what I could do, and the only thing I really wanted to do a playmat, and so I was trying to figure out how I could do that. And the only thing that you can use custom media on at this point are screens.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I experimented, and this is a TV screen that
That
I
works really well.
turned on its side, and then I framed it in with coaster supports.
Hmm.
and to kind of like cover the edge, but like even just like the thickness of the TV and its beveling and everything works really well as a tabletop.
Yeah,
It gives it like the
it
perfect
looks
shape.
legit, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, it looks so good. I was blown away because at first I tried the video panel, which are just like they're just perfect rectangles or squares, and
Hmm.
they just have like I'll show one of those off later. But when I loaded in the image, so this is a picture that I took of a playmat that I own.
I love that.
It's like it's my favorite playmat. It's one of the showcase variants of the Days, which is a one in a blue. You can pick up a return an island to your hand instead of paying its mana cost to counter target spell unless
Oh,
they pay
that
one. Um,
that fucking card. Yeah,
yeah.
no, yeah,
So it's a old school counter
disgusting.
spell. Yes. So I took an image, and when I loaded it into the video panel, it jacked up the exposure really bad. It was like overexposing it and lost a lot of the color. So
Oh,
the
interesting.
image looked really bad on that video panel. So I was like, okay, I'll try like a TV screen. And then I did that, and the image looked better. So then I started building the table, and I was like, oh, actually, this TV screen works way better
I can see it
visually.
where there's a couple of the panels where it's like you can put videos on it, but the videos aren't like rendered with like the world lighting. They're just like overlaid,
Oh,
basically. I'm wondering if you
yeah.
caught one of those because there's like a subtle name difference between them, but I can't quite remember.
Oh.
Um, but I caught it as well before where I'd put an image on that and it just looked really fucking weird in the environment because it was just like emissive, just like over the top of everything else rather than
That's interesting. Yeah,
in
because
world.
I was building outside, so it was like direct
Yeah.
sunlight. Maybe that's what was happening. So I will keep that in mind in the future. But the TV ended up being a much better option because of its beveling and
Oh, for
everything.
sure. Yeah, yeah.
So I loaded in this image of a playmat because at magic shops, oftentimes stores will have like these full table playmats. They usually don't have actual licensed imagery on them. They're normally like more generic images and stuff, but that didn't really matter.
Yeah.
That aspect of realism was not important to me. Um, so I loaded in this image, and my original intention was to load different images onto each of the tables, so they had unique playmats, and I was going to find some images that were more specifically geared towards your magic inclinations, Greg.
Mhm.
Some like blue and black kind of creature based
Yep. Love mod to
cards.
me.
But oh, quick ad break. Sorry for anyone that's getting ads. Um, those Scarlet gifted subs to like everybody, so most people are probably still here actually. So I ended up running out of time to do that. So all I did is I just rotated the table 180 degrees each one, so it wasn't like completely um, homogeneous across.
Yeah, that's a nice
God
variation.
damn it! I did that so many times during the build, and I was like pissed every time.
I love that you know what you just removed the roof or like put it back on or
Nope,
anything.
nope, definitely not. Just dealt with it.
Just suffered on.
Suffered through it. But yeah, so this whole section here, and it started off with just these two rows. And I was like, I need to fill out more space. Like, not only am I running out of time to put more shit in here, but I was like, I need more. I need more play space. Like, this wasn't enough tables. Like, this is only 12 tables. I was like, you can't host like a full event with 12 tables. So then I added this perpendicular section here of more tables. So that puts us up to
Mhm.
24 tables, which I was like, okay, that's reasonable. It's not the biggest event space, but it would be pretty decent for some local events. Um, and they could always add more tables if they really needed them for a big like RCQ or something. And yeah, and then so I built the tables. Those turned out really well. I was really happy with it. And then I went into the workshop looking for chairs to try and get some inspiration. I was like, if I can find a basic chair, I'm just gonna fucking use the basic chair, because once again, I don't need to recreate the wheel here. Um,
Yeah.
but I ended up not liking. Thank you, Tinky. I ended up not liking any of the chairs that were in the workshop, or not so much that I didn't like them. They didn't fit my needs well enough. So
Yeah.
I ended up just building my own. I did use like way too long of legs, so they dive deep into the ground here. Um,
I love that though.
so you're really
I love that
planted.
they're just absurdly
Yeah,
long on the front.
you would never know, but
Yeah.
yeah, they are super long because to get the width or like the thickness that I wanted, they were this long. I couldn't get any smaller pieces, and I was like,
Yeah.
I was not. I was like, fuck it. I don't have the time to like go through every coaster support to figure out which one will give me the proper thickness. So this is a hoarding support. Uh, the only item in the game that I have found that works as like chair cushions is this marketplace decoration, which usually looks like this.
Oh yeah.
Um, and it's just like this folded up like cloth of something or other. If you make the colors this oh no. If you make the colors the same, it looks pretty solid. So I set that in as the seat and just did some, a basic frame around it with coaster supports. And then I did so some subtle things for furniture, I think, that I found makes a big difference is love the girth. Perfect chair girth. I agree. Thank you, Foxy and Scarlet. You're right. Yeah, Scarlet does love the girth. And so throwing a very slight angle onto the back supports for this chair, like it has
Yeah.
both a very slight lean backwards and a very slight lean outward. Um, I think helps to make the chair look more natural because you're not gonna in general you're not gonna have chairs that are like perfect right angles. They're gonna want to
Yeah.
support a natural seat. So giving little tiny angles like that really help to make the furniture feel more real. So very small detail, but something that I think goes a long way in selling the reality of the chair. I didn't angle the
Yeah, man.
front legs because that's less important because they're just meant to be sturdy. But yeah, and then I was trying to figure out what to do with the back. I didn't like the cushion as the back because I didn't want to have to frame it in. I tried a bunch of different like curved frames over the top, and then I was like, hey, let's see what one of these flanges looks like as the back of the chair. And so I just sunk that into the edges, and bingo bongo, we had a circle back chair. And I was like, I like that. I tried putting some like extra framing over the top, but I ended up liking it better with just this because you get this little gap here with these different angles. I felt like the contrast between the straight supports and the circular back gave it a little more dimension and character.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, so that was the chair, and then once I had the chair, I was like, okay, I can just do different colored backs to create variation, so it's not a bunch of white chairs. And so with that, I ended up doing Wooburg once again, white, blue, black,
Classic.
red, green, just down the row, and I repeated that pattern, which meant every time I copied them, because they're 5 colors and not 4, I had to readjust the spacing between the chairs. So these are not all perfectly spaced. They do have slight variation. Some are slightly closer to each other because I just eyeballed it. And then to create less than perfect color matching, I continued the pattern around the corner. So you'll see here it goes white, blue, black, red, green, as
Oh,
opposed
that's where
to
it repeats.
restarting the pattern on the other side. Yeah, exactly. You're right, Scarlett. Imperfections do make it look more natural, which is why I was fine with that. But I didn't want it to be. You get caught up, I think, when you're designing spaces, uh, like repeating a pattern perfectly ends up looking really awkward. you need some form of asymmetry and variation to break up the pattern to give it that more natural feel. And so, at least that's my perspective. And so, in order to make it to where it wasn't like on the opposite side, like the same exact Wooburg pattern, I just continued it around the tables. So that set the colors off, so they're not the same colors on both sides, which lent itself well, I think, to that natural look of variation with while still continuing a theme. And same thing like I mentioned with the tables, flipping it upside down just to create some variation. It's the same image over and over again, but just by doing that little flip where we alternate, and I've seen much better builders than I do this since Planco 1, where you're building a wall and you take the brick and you put it this way and then you rotate it around on your next one, so that way it's not that perfect homogeneous same wall piece over and over again. So I kind of took that to heart with this and just flipped them upside down, which I thought broke up the pattern enough while still creating continuity. So yeah, that's that. I was very happy with how these tables turned out, and as a reminder, every piece I built for this shop is on the workshop. I loaded them all as blueprints. Yeah, or just cover it up in so much detail you can't tell. Yeah, that's Scarlett's plan. She just adds hyper detail to everything, so that way you're amazed by that and you don't think about the repeated pattern. Or she breaks it up with intense detail. So that's like the general play area, and then Commander is one of the, for anyone that doesn't know, Commander is like a more casual format of Magic the Gathering, and it's the most popular format at this point in Magic. And so I wanted to have some tables specifically for that variant, and that is a multiplayer format. Usually there is a 1v1 version of it, but the multiplayer format is played more than the 1v1 version. So I wanted to make some
player.
Yeah, exactly. So I wanted to make some tables set up for multiplayer games of Commander, and so that's when I built these circle tables, and once again, Wooburg pattern with the chairs, and in order to not create... Oh, you son of a bitch. In order to not create the super homogeneous pattern, I just rotated the chairs around the table, so that way the white chair wasn't in the same exact position. So I put it here and then the opposite side, but I did want to keep the spacing and arrangement accurate. So I just went this side, this side, and then this side, that side, to create variation. And I did 5 of the tables instead of 6, to once again add a little more variation to this perfect rectangular rows of straight tables. And you also, having 5 specific Commander tables, I think would be sufficient in most shops. Because you can play Commander at these tables when there isn't an event going on, but if there is an event going on, most people are going to be playing the event, and you just have these Commander tables here for people that aren't part of the event. So, once again, really thinking through what I would want the shop to be from a player perspective. So let's before we get onto the whole selling section, we do have to address this. So first of all, I put some extra chairs over here to kind of fill in this space because it looked too blank with just the monitor on the wall.
That could be where the judges hang out.
Yeah, this could be judges, this could be just extra chairs, this could be spectators, and so once again, Wooburg for that. And here is a graphic that Scarlett made for me. She offered to make me a tournament bracket because I was like, oh, what should I put on this monitor? And I was like, normally, like, there's a monitor or just a paper posting in tournament spaces that shows the match results and pairings for the next round. So I was like, okay, I'll just make something like that. They're usually like very plain text spreadsheets and stuff. But Scarlett offered to make like an actual tournament bracket, and I was like, oh, that would be cool. Like it's not exactly how it would be in real life. Like you pretty much only see graphics like this for professional tournaments. And it's really just on the spectator side, not on the player side.
Yeah.
But I was like, it's a better visual for the build, so I was like, yeah, go for it. And so she made this. She used Canva, as she's saying in chat. She's been using Canva a lot lately. And so she just made me this basic bracket. I told her the colors that I wanted, and I told her the only requirement is that Grig and I are in the finals, and Grig is the winner, since it's Grig's shop. And I named a few people that I wanted included in the bracket, and I told her to fill in the rest with other people, other people that she wanted. And she made all of the pairings and results. So if you're miffed at a certain result, take your complaints to Scarlett, because that was all her doing, not mine. So going kind of through the bracket here, you can see Holly beat Cockers. That's a no-brainer. Holly, as we all know, a very strategic, logical thinker, always focused on the very tight details and gameplay of the games that she plays.
That's the thing. Like Holly and I have played like a bunch of Magic. Holly is solid at Magic. Like, it's not unrealistic that Holly would demolish Waddle at Magic.
Yeah, that's the thing. Waddle doesn't actually play Magic as far as I know. So in real life, this probably would be how it goes, since Holly actually knows how to play the game. Holly would also beat Graham. Ooh, that's more contentious.
Holly has beat me a fair number of times, to be fair.
Okay. Well,
I want to believe I'd be better than Holly.
Well, let's just say Holly wasn't feeling her best this day. She was really distracted, and Grig was really on point. His deck had a really good matchup, and so he eked out a victory. Okay, we'll say that. We'll say that. She also Scarlett trying to cause some sort of feud between two of the most well-known couples in the Goodnice by putting Holly beating Waddle and Grig beating Shammy. This whole section of the bracket, this quadrant over here, is some rough social implications, gotta say. And then making it Grig versus Holly, and Grig beats, like, oh god, tons of domestic disputes going on in this corner of the bracket. Yeah, she was intentionally trying to cause trouble with this bracket, I think.
It would have been a really quiet drive home probably after that tournament.
Yes. But Grig had to make it to the finals and win, so he had to win whoever his first round matchup was. And so putting the four of you in here, I guess, makes sense. And then Foxy and Benny, two of mine and Scarlett's biggest and most consistent supporters. So she put them together. Obviously, Foxy wins because Benny lost. That's how that works. And down here, we've got Phil and Alicia. And this, I think, was a battle that I'm not so sure how this will turn out. But Alicia is, I think everyone knows, very feisty and scrappy. And so I could see her being just relentless. Even if she wasn't the best player, she would just like grind out the win. So Alicia pulls out the victory over Phil here. And then same scenario. Foxy's too nice. Alicia would be way too aggressive. Foxy would just concede after winning the first game and a half. And he'd just be like, you know what, Alicia, you clearly want this more. I love you. Here you go. And he would concede to her. I think that's how that went. And then Alicia comes up against Grig, who is just the superior player. No matter how much tenacity she has, Grig pulls out the win and makes it to the finals. Over here, we've got me versus Relly. Relly was really just in it to have fun. He played some games. We had some great games. I came out on top. No big deal. We both enjoyed it, and Relly went off to play some Commander at the round tables after the first round. Scarlett did gracefully have herself losing to Witchy. So she put herself out in the first round to kind of ease everyone's anger at her by showing that she wasn't the winner here. And then because I told her I had to make it to the finals, she had me beating Witchy. Who knows how that would have gone in real life. Martin and Mikey playing against each other. Mikey being the god mod, he knows the ins and outs. He knows the rules really well, and he knows how to manipulate the system to his advantage. So he ekes out a victory over Martin, who honestly was spending way too much singing during their game and got a couple of warnings from the judges to quiet down. And so Mikey pulled out the victory. Down here we got Ginge versus Manny. Manny taking home the win over Ginge. Really just had a good matchup. And was able to pull out the victory. Went on to face Mikey. Manny takes down Mikey pretty decisively, I will say. It was a bit of a walloping. Mikey never really stood a chance. Manny was just on point that day and took the victory. Scarlet doesn't have enough magic know-how to win. That's fair. And then Manny comes up against me, and the fact is, I'm just a veteran player. I just had more knowledge of the matchup, the ins and outs, the metagame. My deck was just well-tuned, and I take home the victory. Coming up against Grig in the finals, it was a slugfest, and it came down to the wire. Grig hit the top deck he needed and took home the victory, making him the champion, the winner up here with
Heart
this
of the
beautiful...
cards.
Yeah, heart of the cards, exactly. Yeah, Scarlett told me this story in detail. I definitely am not making this up on the spot. It's not me as a masterful storyteller. It's Scarlett arranging everything pre-deep dive. And then I get second place. And once again, this is just a monitor with image, and they even have a little wall mount piece specifically designed for this. So I used the wall mount piece, and so this is like a real life thing that could happen. That has to be a really fucking strong wall mount piece to hold this monitor. But, you know, it is. It's beefy. It's a beefy boy. Over here, I wanted to create a section in the back, so I did this opening here. It took me a while to figure out how to frame this.
Yeah, that's a tricky one.
Nothing was like looking right initially, but eventually I got there with some of these. Yeah, so what is it? This is the castle rounded arch. So this is what it looks like without it. And this is what it looks like with it. It took me a while to figure that out. Same thing with this this transition here. Inlaying these wooden beams. I just sunk them down to make it really thin. I like wrestled with how much of this stuck out on either side and stuff for a while, and eventually just like nobody gives a shit. It looks reasonable, so why am I spending so much time on this? And settled on this. I think it looks relatively real and natural. And then I made this very metal, what I would say is very metal bathroom sign. And as you can see, the game doesn't have any bathroom or restroom-like figures that aren't binary. So I just went with the one that is intended to communicate that it's a non-gendered bathroom. So I used this symbol because there wasn't a better one. I would have preferred a symbol that more included the gender non-binary, but that just doesn't exist in the game, and so I just went with what we had.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it communicates within the constraints of the game what I wanted it to communicate. So we've got yes, I did consider making one, but this was pretty late in the build, and I was like, this is good, this is fine. Grig, do you have a time constraint? Do I need to make sure you're out of here by a certain time?
Only as far as my stomach's concerned. I don't think I've got a hard limit.
Okay. I'll try and speed us up through here to get to the part that I really want your input on.
Sure thing.
So, black walls, because that's metal. Black and red with Viking dragons, because, you know, that's in the space of metal. And then down the hallway, I didn't end up decorating this hallway like I had planned to. I just ran out of time, and it wasn't that important. Once again, doors signifying that this is not a men's room or a women's room. It is a gender-inclusive bathroom. And you come in here, we've got some things. Once again, the bathroom, since it was not a focal piece, I did use workshop pieces for the bathroom. Like these sinks. This whole thing is a workshop build. So I just threw this. I think I duplicated it and threw them in here, and then I added. So like the faucet and everything's all part of that workshop build, which I thought they did a really good job. I didn't need to reinvent the wheel here. I added the lights onto this. So these little circle lights, I added those to give some lighting to there, and I added these mirrors above. These are just the circle framed... Wait, is there something in this? Oh, this has a... I think this has a circle inside of it. So I think this is the glass framed circle with maybe a white circle behind it or something. I can't remember now.
Gotcha.
To create that kind of like mirrored glass effect, because they don't, because these are just glass panes. Yeah, so I needed something to give them that mirror effect. And then
there's a fun way that old games used to fake reflections like this, where you would make it just perfectly transparent, but you'd copy the room that you're in, but flipped.
Yes,
put it on the other side of basically just a clear plane.
That is actually
like
awesome.
Draw the character twice.
I wonder, is that more or less resource intensive than doing actual reflections?
Oh, massively less.
Okay.
Back then it would be a lot less. Nowadays, hit and miss. But it's like, I think I remember seeing it as far back as the like Arkham City, I want to say, or maybe Arkham Asylum. They even did that for like reflections in puddles. They had like an upside down skyline like under the ground that you would just be looking at through puddles. So you get like a nice, like perfect reflection, even though you're just literally looking through a hole in the floor.
That's actually awesome. That's that beautiful insight into programming that I have you here for. So thank you. I am like getting very annoyed with my camera here. Oh, you son of a bitch.
I can't beg you enough to try the fly cam.
You're right. You can't beg me enough. Okay, so we've got some basic lights above here, and then a little trash can. This is also a workshop build because, once again, I didn't need to reinvent the trash can. It's just a rectangle. And I don't know if we can see it up here. There are speakers up here in the corner. Here they are.
Oh, yeah.
These are really high ceilings in this bathroom, so I put some speakers up here. I played around with having metal music playing. There is like an actual like rock or metal station, but I ended up not liking it enough, and I didn't have time to put in music from your bands that you liked, so I just skipped it. I put in the speakers so I could do it, but it's not actually implemented. These stalls are workshop. I just duplicated them and placed them. There is a handicap stall version, or a accessible stall version that's a little bit wider. So there's a few of those in there. And then there are toilets in here. And these toilets are also workshop toilets. Because once again,
oh, hell yeah.
I did not need to build a friggin' toilet that no one's going to even look at. When Waddle was doing the showcase of this, he didn't even realize there was a bathroom back here. I had to like type at him that there was a bathroom to explore. Otherwise, he never even would have known. So I feel justified in the fact that I used some workshop pieces back here. And I just detailed them and set them in arrangement to be what I needed. And you'll notice, because this is a gender-inclusive restroom, there are only stalls, no urinals, and it is both doors lead into the same restroom with just sinks and mirrors on both ends, because I think this is my ideal future for what restrooms would look like to be more inclusive. So
Now, I do think there is one thing that is missing.
yes.
So I was at a game development conference this week, and one thing that I noticed that they had in all of their bathrooms were cans of deodorant by the sinks,
Oh.
which I'm personally very thankful for. And I think, given the history that Magic players have for being stinky people,
Yes.
stinky people,
Yes.
just a couple cans of deodorant in here, that would be top notch.
That is a great point. So I had been playing TCG Shop Simulator around this time a fair amount, and they have in that game they have these like deodorizers, these giant like aerosol sprayers that will spray stinky customers as they come in.
Oh,
Gregor's house for stinky boys. Yep, exactly.
Gregor's house for stinky boys.
So I
could fix them. You know, I could.
Yeah, I can fix them. I can make them not stinky.
Yeah, I could kick the stinky fuckers out.
I did intend to put like a deodorizer in the shop, and just never got around to it. I kind of forgot by the time I got down to the wire. But that would be something if I was going to update this. Yes, cans of deodorant in here, as well as like automatic aerosol sprayers all throughout.
Perfect.
All right, back into the hallway, and I did do actually. So once again, the light from the other side of the wall is bleeding through the wall because lighting is still broken. But once again, I actually don't care because it creates an effect that I like. And these are just basic hanging lights overhead to make sure people can see where they're going. Cool. Okay. Now, into the stuff that Grig may have some thoughts on. So, first off...
It's me, innit?
This is you, buddy. I made you into a magic card.
I'm the necrophysicist.
That's right. Great. I tried to I tried to figure out what to do. So there are a bunch of magic card making sites on the internet, and so I went through like 4 or 5 of them to try and figure out which one fit my needs the best. I don't recall the name of the one I ended up using offhand, but one of them stood out above the others, and that's the one I ended up using for this. And initially, your name was going to be Grigler, Master of Physics. And so
that's pretty good too.
But what I did for the actual like card design, so all of this text here I wrote, and I tried to make an actual card. Like that would function in the game in a way that made sense for what you had expressed as like your interests and preferred play style. So from what you had told me, I kind of got the concept that you liked playing blue and black, and that you liked playing more like creature and mill based strategies around blue and black.
I am a bastard, man. I like to... Yeah, mill is a very hated playstyle, quite rightfully, because it involves almost entirely its win condition is to just remove your opponent's deck before they get a chance to draw the cards or like, see them or anything. And it's just entirely based on just screwing over everybody. Yeah. So people hate mill. It's a famously ineffective strategy, especially in Commander. But it is extremely fun to play.
Yes, I would agree. I do like playing mill decks. I don't play them very often because of how unfun they often are for your opponents.
You got to be doing it with friends rather than strangers for sure.
But yeah, I too like to play some mill decks. So I designed this. Yeah.
The favorite game I've ever had, I think, with a middle deck is doing it where we did dual-headed Commander. I think it was a 6-player game of dual-headed commander where it was 3 sets of 2 people. It took so long, but it was me teamed up with my friend who was playing Sheoldred.
Uh-huh.
So he was just making everyone draw like 30 cards. I was making them mill whatever they had left. It was truly a absolutely beautiful matchup.
That sounds amazing. Just completely
so
obliterating people's decks.
Yeah, with everyone then teamed up on us, we died almost instantly. It was great.
Oh yeah, and that's the dynamics, the fun of multiplayer games is you do too well and people are going to team up against you.
Yep.
As a quick side note for the chat, Scarlett just shared another amazing emote that Phil made for her, Night Filtorious. It's her as an oracle, which is a reference to her role in someone else's stream. They constantly call her and Cheeky the oracles. So she got an oracle emote, which looks amazing. Phil did an incredible job. So, if anyone ever needs emotes created, hit up Phil and see if he has availability to take on your project. His prices are very reasonable, and his work is excellent. And to that end, Phil also streams sometimes, and I heard he was going to stream soon. So let me give him a shout out. I think I typed it right.
I love Phil.
There we go. Shout out for Phil. Check his channel out if you're not already familiar. So I made this card to play, hopefully be a card that you would enjoy playing. And it's also pretty powerful. You mentioned specific creature types in the blue and black creature set, so I made it make tokens that were several of those creature types, a horror zombie ninja. And I made sure that the abilities complemented each other and gave even a static ability to all your creatures, which would help refuel your hand so that you could continue to play abominations and destroy people's decks.
Very good. Very, very good.
I did ask...
I think the only bit of text missing on that is Grigla Necrophysicist can be your commander. I think that's the only little bit
you are so right. Oh, yeah. I should have added that. That would have been the correct way to go. Damn it. Oh, it is a very full text box, so that would be pretty cramped. Yeah. But you're right. It should say that he could be your commander. I even put it in the Commander Legends set. That's the set symbol for Commander Legends.
That's set marker is. I couldn't work out which one it was.
Yep. The card is a little bit squished in game because the video panels they don't have the right aspect ratio. So it squished it a little bit, and I was just like, whatever. It's getting the point across.
Yeah, it makes me look thinner. It's fine.
Yeah. And so I did get some images from Holly. I had her send me some pictures of you, and so she sent me a handful of pictures. And this was the best option I had for you by yourself, just being the focal point of the card. And the background, honestly, I had wanted to do a different background, and I wanted to do more with this. I spent so much time making this image of you with this background because I didn't have Adobe Creative Suite on this computer, and I didn't want to download it because I have access through my work. But I didn't want to download it onto this machine because I would have had to remove the license from a different machine in order to load it onto this machine and stuff. And so I was just using free software to try and do it, and so it took me forever to end up with this. And I just Google searched some abstract backgrounds, and this one actually ended up working out pretty well. I felt like it actually hit the sentiment of the card. And once I had the card designed, I workshopped the name and came up with Necrophysicist to be kind of like a reanimator and the physics part of manipulating the mill and the power of the creatures and stuff.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, as Holly's pointing out, you were originally on a beach.
I was wondering where I was.
Careful thought and where you put it. Yes, thank you, Foxy. I appreciate that. I did put a lot of thought into everything I did. I kind of put a lot of thought into everything I do, but and then just a little light above it to light it up when it's nighttime out, so that way you can always see. And so I made this like the specialty Grigler Necrophysicist card, and it's like a big display version of it that he could show off to everyone that comes into the shop, to let them know that he's cool enough that he had a magic card made after him.
I would tell everyone if that was a thing that happened.
Hell yeah, I would be. Yeah, it would be all over everything that I owned, because that would be fucking boss. And then I also I tried to include every aspect of what he described in his little bio. And so the fact that he specifically mentioned that he was married to Holly, I wanted to commemorate that. I also figured if Grig owned a shop, he would probably want to display his love of his wife/family in there. And so I made this custom frame, and I was trying to continue the like metal-ish theme. There's not a lot in the game that directly supports that, but I figured the Viking stuff was at least in the realm of...
Yeah, I mean, metal and Vikings have always been a very linked thematically.
Yeah, and like I know, as I was like researching stuff, I know the Viking stuff is maybe a little more prevalent in like death metal and black metal, but I figured that wasn't a really super important distinction given the constraints.
Yeah.
So went with this theme. Like I said, this is a custom frame that I built out of a few different border pieces, and then added these dragons, and then this is just a Viking sign up here that I sunk into the dragon heads to make it look like they're kind of like holding it with their mouths, also licking it a bit, giving a little bit of spiciness to it, you know, because this is the as far as Holly told me. So if she messed it up, that's on her. This is your anniversary date for when you guys got married.
That is when we nipped off to Vegas and got hitched.
Awesome. I didn't know you guys did a Vegas wedding. To be honest, I wasn't sure if you were actually married or not. And so I had to ask Holly.
Full on married.
Awesome. So does a Vegas marriage hold up in the UK?
It does. We did a lot of research to make sure that that is a thing that's true, but it is a recognized marriage by the UK.
Awesome.
Got a document and everything.
Awesome. So yeah, so put your date there, and the only picture that really fit in the frame of the two of you, and drop that in there. And I can't remember. I think Holly said this is like an older picture.
Well, I said that photo's really old, and then Holly said no, it's like a year old, and now I don't know what the reality is. So it's however old Holly said it is.
She says it's from last year.
Yes, because that's from when we saw Dimension 20, right, Holly?
Oh, awesome. That's even more perfect for this space then.
I think that's when we saw Dimension 20.
Well done, Graham.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Thank you.
Okay.
I remembered a single fact about my own life. I'm glad everyone was here to commemorate it.
It's immortalized forever now.
It's the first time I've ever managed it, so I'm really proud.
Yeah, I'm proud of you. That's incredible. You did a great job, Grig.
Thank you.
I'm glad I could be present for that, too. Okay. So these were some custom things I did to commemorate Grig in particular, since he is the shop owner. And so, yeah, I hope you liked it.
I do.
Awesome. Now, into this area. This took a long time to make, this whole retail section.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of text there, and a lot of little boxes.
There's a lot going on here. The first thing I built in this section are these display cases, once again. They don't make wall
Very
pieces
nice.
short enough that I could use here, so they go deep into the floor, and no one will ever know that, so who gives a shit?
Hell yeah.
I looked on the workshop for display cases to try and get some inspiration, and I couldn't find any that were exactly what I wanted. A lot of times in magic shops, the display cases have like kind of a raised shelf here, so they're like that. It's more of like a top section. Sometimes some of it depends on the shop, but I wanted to do this kind of like elevated section in here, not just like a full glass case. For singles, so you can buy individual magic cards, and so I wanted to load custom images for the magic cards, but you can't make the screen small enough to do that to where I felt like it would make sense. So what I did was, let's see if I can get into here. I don't think I'm going to be able to click into here, so let me just delete one of these. This is a couple of basic squares overlapped with slightly larger basic squares overlapped behind it to create the black border of the only magic card design that matters, because white border cards are trash. And went in here to... I made an individual card, and then I duplicated it. I angled it as if it was, like, lifted on something. I didn't actually put anything underneath it, but once again, nobody's ever going to know that. So I was okay with it, and I duplicated it and placed them all in here, and then I changed the color. And so when you go into a magic shop, generally they'll have singles separated by color. So that's exactly what I did here. I did white cards, blue cards, black cards, red cards, green cards, and then there are a lot of multicolor cards, and so I did purple as multicolor cards with the gold border, because in actual Magic, multicolor cards oftentimes have a gold border.
Yep.
And then I also did gray for artifacts and colorless cards, which are also another big section of Magic.
I do love a colorless deck.
Same. I love me a good colorless deck. So I built these cases here with some glass around, with the wood, continuing the wood theme. At this stage, when I built this case, I was like, I think there's too much wood. But I was like, fuck it, I'm leaning into it. And so I then put in some lights in here. For a while, I was actually able to click the lights in the case, but whatever. Oh, they might not actually be part of the case. Yep, they're not. Okay, that's why. Surprising that I can click that light through the glass, but I can. So I put lights in here to light up the display cases, and then I put lights down here on the ground. I colored them to be... is that blue? Or is that purple? Anyway, I think it's like blue. Colored them to light up the floor because the floor was so dark. They help a little bit. They're mostly for just kind of visuals, but yeah, so there's like one on each end of the case to kind of light up that floor area. At the front here, I couldn't figure out what to put here. I tried to put like a display, but nothing was working, and so this metal fist, I don't know, it felt reasonable for the metal and the magic. I was like, yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah, big old fist.
Yeah.
Works out.
Big old metal fist here. And I put a couple speakers here, once again, to be playing. It's a music shop, so I would imagine metal music would be playing most of the time in the shop. So I put some speakers here, so that way they could play metal music. And then over here, I put another case, which at my local shop, this is pretty common, I think. They'll have a case for extremely high value cards. So like dual lands, Power 9, really special versions of cards. And so this case, I took different colored cards and tried to randomly put them all throughout the case. This took way longer than I should have spent on it to create this variation of different cards, but this case was intended to be the super high value case. that's off to the side, and also the first case you see when you walk in, so you're drawn to see all of the awesome stuff they have. Yeah, and so that was the cases, and I got my little dude here. This is Grig, clearly, running the shop. Oh, another workshop piece. This till is a workshop piece because I wasn't gonna rebuild a till because once again, it's a bunch of rectangles in the screen, and that wasn't really what I wanted to spend my time on. Magic the Gathering sign I made for my Galaxy of Goodnice build, so I just grabbed that, sized it up. It actually looks really good, I think, and it's just using an in-game font, which this is pretty close to what this Magic logo looks like. It's pretty solid.
Very similar.
Then I made some booster boxes here. And I don't know if you noticed this during the showcase, that these were actual set names from
I did.
Magic sets. So these pieces are... Oh, no. Okay. Are a couple of basic shape rectangles that are set inside. So there's a little black rectangle inside of the larger one, and these are meant to be... So, honestly, they look more like fat packs than booster boxes, but I couldn't get the right shape and stuff for booster boxes, so these are supposed to be booster boxes or fat packs, whatever. They get the general point across.
Yeah, they look like the bundle boxes.
Yeah.
They do.
So I chose sets that either I really like or I thought were in line with some of the stuff that you like, with colors like Innistrad, and just really identifiable sets. Like Return to Ravnica was a set I started playing at, so I put that in there. Zendikar is a really recognizable plane. I put that there. I also was like spending a lot of time trying to figure out what font best represented the set.
Yeah.
To try and get in the realm of that.
You got Edge of Eternities in, which would have been before that set came out, actually, wouldn't it?
Yes, it was right around the release time, or like Edge of Eternities was the upcoming set. So I put in Edge of Eternities as like the most recent set. I had intended to make each shelf different sets, but I got tired and ran out of time, so every shelf is the same.
That would have been a lot of effort.
And as a quick aside, this shelf is a custom shelf that I made just by doing some basic shelves, just layering like wood planks. And then I was going through looking for something to be the braces, and I found these swords. And that was like perfect for a magic and metal shop, I thought. So I used the swords as the vertical supports. The hilt of the sword even like goes into the wall as a brace, and the tip goes down into the floor to like actually like anchor it into the ground. So I thought that was a really nice touch, and also very easy to build. So it was really nice to be able to like throw that in. I think it goes really well with the theme of the shop. Then these pirate signs. These are just the basic pirate signs that I wrote stuff because I wasn't sure what people were going to... If people were going to know what these were, so I wanted to make some signs to kind of call it out. So boosters, deck boxes, because the deck boxes and the sleeves look very similar because they are exactly the same in-game objects, but so I wanted to differentiate between them, and then playmats to let you know what those are. So I made, just once again, little squares that have a black square inside of them, and I duplicated them, made them different colors for different colored deck boxes. Same thing with the playmats. I laid them all out on top of each other to be these stacks, and made all these different colors that I could think of to fill all the space. And then down here, sleeves, same thing, with all these boxes with different colored sleeves. And for signage on the wall, I took some album covers from the bands that you like. Mastodon, Gojira. Oh, this actually, I don't know if... I think this is just an actual Godzilla
I think
poster.
that is just a poster of Godzilla. I'm
Yeah.
trying to look it up. I don't think that is.
Yeah,
I mean, it looks sick. Don't get me wrong.
exactly.
It looks good.
It could certainly be a Gojira poster or album cover if they wanted it to be. But
You got Magma to the right of it.
yes, and then to the right here we've got another album cover from. Is this another Mastodon album?
Yes, that's
Okay.
the Magma album by Gojira.
Oh, by Gojira. That's a Gojira album. Yeah.
Yes.
So, album covers here as posters on the wall. I thought that was a nice visual touch. And then
Very nice.
coming around, so as I was building, I got to this section and I had this whole blank corner, and I was like, I don't know what to put here. I guess like shelves. So these shelves are once again from a workshop build. I deleted everything off of them and I modified them slightly and pulled them in here because once again I don't need to rebuild rectangles. So I found some rectangles and put them into the shop. So as I was doing this, I was like, what the hell can I put over here? I was like, I don't want to make a bunch of custom items again. I don't know what to do. And then it dawned on me. I was like, oh, what if he just sells metal albums? Like, that would make sense. So I decided to make this a metal section. Yeah, Scarlett also loves the swords. So I put some... These are like a coaster attachment wings. I just blacked them out and set them as kind
They
of...
fit really well on the shelves.
Yeah.
It's like little bookends.
Yep, exactly, and that's exactly what they're meant to be, is little bookends to help the albums from falling over. Riven can suck it. I'm not doing 10 push-ups. But maybe you get to see my ass again later. Who knows? So, I did... Some of these are, like, just more, like, straight up and down. I wanted to, like, lean them and touch them. But once again, I just ran out of time to get that. Oh, get wet. Time for me. Hold on 1 second, Grig. Let me soak myself.
Please.
Oh. Oh, yeah. Gotta get that throat soaking wet. Oh. Okay, yeah. Thank you, Scarlett. I appreciate it. I needed that. My throat's getting dry. So these are not, the physics are not perfect because some of them are like leaning, but they're not touching. But I did place them individually. So they do have slightly varied spacing and stuff to help sell the effect. And I made sure that the one on the end was actually leaned to essentially be touching the one next to it. So this is where I really went into investigating bands.
This is when you started pulling out some different names. I was surprised.
Yeah. I took your 3 bands, and then I went into Google and I searched for bands similar to Mastodon, bands similar to Gojira, or like if you like Gojira, you'll like this band. And I pulled up some like lists from music writers that talked about bands to check out if you're into that kind of music. And so I pulled from those like top 20 lists, I pulled a few names that I thought sounded the most in line with the bands that you called out specifically.
Yep.
And so we've got our Gojira album here. I also spent a lot of time deciding which font best represented which band, which is another thing that no one cares about.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably did. Yeah. And as you can see, I did put a little light down behind the shelves to help accentuate.
It looks really good on the slow panning.
Yeah, doesn't it? That actually does look quite good. I love that effect. Another speaker back here for the middle section. Gotta have some speakers in the middle section. Um, so Gojira albums and the three bands that you called out as your favorite, I made two shelves of those albums, and
Very
then
nice.
all of the secondary bands got a single shelf. So that way I could, duplicate, at least get some duplication, help myself a little bit. Um, I also tried to choose colors. I tried to choose colors and fonts that would go with the bands. So Intronaut was one of the bands suggested, and the album covers that I could find of theirs, this kind of like light bluish color was common amongst their theming, so that was the color I chose for them.
Yep.
Between the Buried and Me, and let me know if you know any of these bands and whether or not you like any of these bands.
Intronaut is not one I've heard of,
Okay.
but I should listen to.
There you go, check them out. Between the Buried and Me, once again.
That is one I know.
Okay. Would you say they are similar to any of the bands you called out?
They're definitely in the same ballpark. They're similar enough to have turned up on my daily mix or my weekly mix relatively often.
Perfect. Okay, I think that's a good call out then. So Between the Buried and Me, once again, I tried to pick a color that was common amongst their album covers, and they got a very basic font.
Fair.
Over here we got Baroness.
I do like Baroness. They turn up quite a bit.
Perfect. Once again, trying to match the color to the band. Down here we've got High on Fire.
High on Fire. Let me Google if it's the band. I think it is. I don't know if it is. I not a name I know. Oh, hang on. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, okay, yeah. So I think that is an offshoot band made by one of the guitarists of Gojira.
There you go.
Which makes sense.
Perfect. So yep, there's High on Fire, and they got that kind of like Celtic-y font that was I felt fitting. Here we've got Mastodon. Once again, tried to choose colors and fonts that kind of felt accurate. So like, if we look, this, I don't know if this is an actual album cover or if this is someone's custom art they did.
So it looks like it's a mixture of multiple of their album covers, I think.
That's what I thought.
The Whale is from Leviathan.
Yep.
Which is a concept album about Moby Dick. That I think was like their first or second album. And then the rest of it is just like a lot of different elements from stuff. Or I'm full of shit and it's just like a full massive art version that I've not seen before. But it's definitely from Leviathan, if nothing else.
Yeah, I think it's an amalgamation. I think someone made this composite image from several of their album covers. So I threw that in there to just kind of represent Mastodon. And like over here, this is a Gojira. This also, I think, is not the direct album cover, but a piece of art made from the album cover.
Yeah, I think it might be like a full spread of the A Way of All Things album.
Yeah,
it's like the majority of the album art, but then like reflected down that center line.
Yep, exactly. So I this works really well, I think, as like a banner above the album. So like, this is the Gojira section, this is the Mastodon section. And like, obviously we've got references over here. So like, you can see the font here on Call of the Mastodon. That's kind of the inspiration for using like this font for the Mastodon album.
Yeah, these are pretty basic font, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly.
Just big and blocky.
Then we got Cult of Luna.
It's a name I know. It's not a band I could tell you any of their songs off the top of my head, but I'm sure I've listened to them before.
So they were another band that popped up, and using this font, I couldn't fit their name on the album left and right, so I just put it at an angle. And
Yeah,
I was
it's a pretty long one.
I was like, that works. That actually looks pretty good. And then this band, I read was like one of the like quintessential like grandfather bands kind of the
one of the biggest like metal, like biggest and most well loved metal bands out there.
Yeah. So I had to get them in there. So Opeth is down here with a nice shelf. And then we've got Queens of the Stone Age. Once again, trying to choose a font in-game. Really limited with font choices in the game. So
just my little desert rock band hanging out on the corner of the Bell store.
Exactly. Yep.
We're cool too.
Exactly. So this was one of those things where it's like, okay, it's gonna be like all metal bands, and then Queens of the Stone Age on the end cap. And when people ask, you're just like, I just love that band. And that's what makes it Grig's Magic and Metal and not your typical music store.
Yeah, man.
And once again, in order to fit this all in here and look proper, I had to do 3 separate text objects. Yeah, see?
Oh, it's going to be stuck in my head forever now. Such a good song, though.
And so I made the Queens of the Stone Age albums, and then once again trying to find like a signage for the metal section. I figured an anvil was relatively on point. Once again, the Viking signage to kind of keep it on theme.
Nice and straightforward.
Yeah. And then this is a poster I made for Grig Fest, and it's for 2026 because when I was building this, I looked for the next time the 13th was a Friday. And the next Friday the 13th was in 2026. There weren't any more left in 2025. So I made it Grigfest 2026, and initially I had the Friday the 13th, I had the date under there. And when I redesigned the poster to make it a better design, I forgot to add it back in. Because once again, this is a Queens of the Stone Age album art. This image on the right here. Someone had made this blank open version of it, and I was like, that is perfect for a poster. So I used that, and then I went into some free design programs once again. Spent a lot of time trying to figure out what font would work for me for each section, each band, and I did some 3-dimensional outlining stuff. So Gojira, I found this font that I thought was... I also wanted it to look a little bit handwritten to a certain degree, because I feel like a lot of concert posters are
yeah, I get that.
Yeah, especially for a local event that would be Grigfest. You'd want it to look a little more handmade. You want that local gritty kind of do-it-yourself vibe. But elevated here. So we got Gojira, Mastodon, and Queens of the Stone Age are the headliners, obviously, because this is Grigfest. So Grig, who is good friends in this universe with all of these bands, and so he just called them up, and they were happy to come out and play Grigfest, and then he fills in all of the other slots for the show with local bands, because it is a weekend event that also involves a Magic tournament, and it's just an all-around incredible event that Grig has been throwing for the past several years, and so obviously you got to have a poster for the next one.
You gots to. I love the world building around that.
Yeah, beautiful. And that's exactly how I do all of my builds. I tend to create a story to go along with it, because that's kind of how it works for me. I did some red lighting, some light bars down on the bottom shelf of the racks, once again creating that kind of cool effect as you pan through. And I needed some sort of decoration to go in the corner here. And there is this skull from the pirate set. And I was like, that's pretty metal. And I just put it on top of a Viking signpost. And then put this little black and red speaker behind it. Made the light that specifically illuminates this area red. So these wall lights are the same as the other section, but these lights are white light to illuminate the product, and then these lights are red to kind of give more metal feel to the area. And these lights up here, no, I don't want that. I want the lights there. I Don't know. Okay, these are just spring white, which was the white shade that I used for all the lights in the shop. So the overhead lighting is spring white to illuminate the posters, and then the lighting down here to illuminate the accents is all red to kind of really give it that nice metal feel in the corner.
Yeah.
And that basically is the whole build. Any aspect of it that particularly jumped out to you when like Waddle did the original showcase?
I think seeing my face on the wall in a couple of places was something that was just like, oh, it's my face. So that definitely stood out. Otherwise, I think I was seeing like the cool Ammark covers and then seeing the band names as you went by was very good. I did definitely pick up on the Weebug color scheming pretty quickly.
Gotcha. Good. I'm glad that was apparent enough for you. Awesome.
Yeah, it was very good.
Thank you. I hope you like the build. I hope it's enough in the style of things you enjoy that, like, if this was a real place, you would hang out here.
Oh, for sure.
So
I do love dark wood tones as well. So it's
oh, thank goodness,
it's ended up being a nice thing.
Because I like darker wood tones, so that's why I did it. And at a certain point, I was like, "Fuck." I was like, what if he hates this style of like brick and wood and like dark
hate
wood?
I want concrete.
I love light wood tones. So I was like a little concerned, but yeah, Scarlett also likes dark wood tones. Thank you, Holly. I'm glad that you like it too. Let's see if I can snooze these ads a bit. So yeah, I'm glad that is well enough in your style. I love the giant glass like windows throughout the whole shop. I would love to play Magic here and hang out here. Even though I'm not into metal music, everything else about the shop is so up my alley, and just envisioning this in like an urban area with like shops and stuff around and people walking by, I would love to play Magic at this shop.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Any questions about any aspects of the build or anything that you were still curious about or wanted me to dive into?
I've got anything. I don't know if chat has anything.
Yeah, chat.
I do want to say thank you again because obviously huge amount of thought has gone into this. Very, very deep thought on a lot of different things. And I think just as a way to thank you, I am going to make you stand up and show your ass to everyone again.
Thank you,
just as
Grig.
my way of thanking you.
That's so kind of you.
I'm glad. Thank you. I'm glad that you appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, here. So I am going to have to go to a full screen. Do you want me to let you go now so you can eat? I can, as I like wrap up stream and everything.
I am so hungry.
Okay.
I would love that. Thank you again.
Yeah, of course.
Very much appreciate all of this work.
Yes, I hope it was a pleasant surprise when I got showcased, and hope I
for sure
nailed some of your interests well enough. And thank you so much for joining me and hanging out and going through all this. I know it ended up being a pretty long, deep dive, but thank you so much. Yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time.
All good, man.
All right.
I'm gonna hop off the call then.
Okay.
I'll leave you to show your ass to everyone.
I will definitely show my ass to everyone. Yes. Thank you, Grig.
Everyone needs to appreciate it.
It's a gift for everyone. See you, dude. Awesome. Grig is a wonderful person, and I really enjoy talking to him and hanging out virtually with him. So thanks again for joining me, Grig. It was really awesome. And now he has redeemed Peach Stance. So let's get up and do some stretches. Always got to stretch before we do a Peach Stand. Thank you, Foxy. I appreciate it. Thank you, Holly. Yeah, I like doing these deep dive videos because I really like talking about all of the thought that went into it. I'm very much a details person, especially when it comes to lore and especially when it comes to lore and storytelling. Hold on real quick. Let me just... oh, yeah, there we go. Getting that nice stretch. How's that looking in frame? Is that good in frame? Yeah, pretty good in frame. Oh, get that deep stretch down there. Oh, yeah. Oh, get a little bit of a wiggle. Really leaning through the stretch. Nice and slow. Oh, don't want to strain anything. Ooh. Stretch back up. Okay, feeling good, and back down. Okay, yeah. Touch those toes. Reach for the ground. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, actually, I think I can lean on the shelf a little bit, and, yeah, really stretch those glutes and that back. I think that's pretty good right there. Okay. Oh, let me get a little side stretch here. Oh, yeah, you gotta really feel the stretch up and down through the curvature of the glutes, you know? Really getting it down in there. Oh, bring it close together. Get that stretch. Oh, yeah, right there. See, do you see how that curvature really plays into that stretch? Yeah, really, gets in there good. Okay. Woo. Oh, thank you guys for stretching with me, you know. It's important. It's important to stay limber and loose while you're sitting at a computer all the time. So thank you, Grig, for that health lesson for everybody. Much appreciated. Oh, yeah. Love a peach. That emote, that love a peach emote, is something that Scarlett also made in Canva, I think. Yes, so... I'm glad you're feeling filled up, Foxy. I'm glad I could fill you up with peach. And so... okay. Catch my breath. I'm out of water, I think. So I can't really... I got a little bit. I got a little bit of water. There we go. There we go. So, thank you all so much for hanging out and for joining me on this deep dive. And I hope you will all join us next weekend. So Scarlett and I are going to do a deep dive walkthrough of her build for Tinky's Summer Showcase. That park turned out absolutely amazing. I really like it, and so she's going to walk us through her thought process on that build and showcase some of the techniques and everything that she used and some of the piece choices and all the design choices. I did a deep dive of the couple of elements that I made for that build yesterday. So if you're interested, the VOD is on my Twitch channel, and so you can check that out to see my contribution to that build. You can also always check out my YouTube channel, where there's not much there right now, but Scarlett's deep dive where she talked about her Detroit Charcuterie Club build that she did for the Goodnice Gift Showcase. Our deep dive of that is on both the VODs for my Twitch channel as well as on my YouTube channel. So you could go there and check that out. That was really cool to do a deep dive into all of her food builds for the top of the charcuterie. And yeah, so check out those deep dives. Come hang out with us next weekend. We'll post some announcements in our Discord. Once again, if you're interested in knowing what's up with our channels or interacting with us and the rest of our community while we're not live on stream, hit up the Discord. Oh, and now we're in an ad break. Okay, cool. Love that. So that means I have to kill time for a couple minutes. So why don't we try and figure out if there's anyone that we can raid? Is anybody live right now? Cheeky is live. Okay, yeah, we'll raid into Cheeky. She's playing Galaxy Burger. It's the weekend co-op crew. Oh, nice. So she's playing Galaxy Burger with some friends. Thank you for being here, Holly. Really appreciate it. And thank you for the sub and the biddies and all of the support. It's really amazing. I really appreciate you. Thank you, Foxy, for being here. Yeah, we're going to raid into Cheeky, who is a friend of mine and Scarlett's. She is awesome. Yes, my first hype train. Thank you all for contributing to that. So yeah, we're going to raid into Cheeky's stream. We'll wait until we get out of the ad break, I guess. Let's see. Let's find her in here. Alright. Cheeky tends to play like every simulation game under the sun, and it looks like she's playing a kind of cute one today. Making burgers and stuff with another friend of ours, whose username is Page Not Found. Yeah, Page Not Found, with 2 T's apparently. So here, let's give a quick shout out to. I think this should be right. Let's see. Not sure if that's right. Nope, that's not right. That's the wrong channel. I messed it up. Page not. Oh, there's an underscore at the end. Oh, thank you, Foxy. So let's see. Shout out at Page Not Found underscore. Let's try that. There it is. So Cheeky is playing with our friend Paige. Hey, welcome back everybody from the ad break. We were just talking about that we are going to raid into, yes, Paige, Riven, and Charcoal are all playing. So we can also give, Riven might still be in here, yeah. Shout out to Riven. And a shout out to, is Charcoal's name just straight up Charcoal Dragon? Or does he have anything special in his name? Yes, it's just straight up Charcoal Dragon. Wait, is she playing with Charcoal? She doesn't have Charcoal's name in her thing. Charcoal Dragon. Well, in any case, there's a shout out for Charcoal too. Was that the right shout out? Yep, okay, that should be correct. He isn't streaming it? Okay, gotcha. Alright, so we're gonna raid into Cheeky, so let me start that raid. So that gets going. Thank you all again for hanging out with me for this deep dive, going through the park that I built for Grig. Thank you again, Grig, for joining me, and hopefully I will talk to you all very soon. Hit up the Discord if you want to interact off stream. Thanks again for all of the subs and biddies, and yes, thank you for joining me, Grig. I really appreciate you taking the time to do that. thank you all so much. I really appreciate your support, and hopefully I will see you all soon, okay? All right. Farewell.